It's a little loud, don't you think? Hey, it's Joan Jones. I'm sitting in for Chad Benson today. What a thrill this is for me. I get to hang out with Headless Bell. And
AC/DC is never too loud.
You don't think it's too loud?
AC/DC is never too loud.
It's like taking my ears out.
AC/DC is never too loud.
All right.
Ken, am I right or wrong?
I just do the news.
Oh, here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Here we go. Oh, my goodness. Guys, so this is really cool. It's 12:06 here on this New Year's Eve, and we're looking, wow, it says 24 degrees. Is that right?
No, it
That's
is,
weird.
let's see what I got here. I've got 38 degrees.
All right. So then this is not correct.
Actually, I've got 47 degrees.
47?
Yeah, just refresh.
So it's not going to be quite so bad out there tonight for all those folks that are out at Bicentennial Park and they're partying and they're getting cold because they're so drunk.
Now, that's not going to happen tonight, Sister
you don't think
Joan?
that's going to happen? I'm so sorry. How silly of me. Did you know that it's already New Year's Eve? Make sure I've got my audio up here. It's already New Year's Eve in New Zealand.
Yeah.
They went crazy. So this is as much New Year's Eve as I'm going to hear because there's no way I'm staying up for that. Am I too old for this? I must be. When you get up at 2 o'clock in the morning, usually, like doing the whole staying up till midnight thing, that doesn't happen anymore.
Hey, you got to sleep until 5 today.
I know. It was
complaining.
glorious. 5 o'clock, I was like, wow, stretch. Oh, this is good. So, yeah, I love that. They also already rang in the new year in Australia. And I want to say that the folks there are brave because they did this. They had the fireworks over the Sydney Opera House and all of that despite that terror attack. So good for them. In Japan, South Korea, China, it's already 2026. So we're just hanging out here waiting to count things down another 12 hours. We'll be able to join them. In New Orleans, they have begun to deploy the National Guard. And that's because of what happened there last year, of course. There they are. They're kind of out on the streets. Now, I only have audio because I'm not like the big boys. They get their own video stuff. Sorry. So they're out there already in New Orleans, and that's because, if you remember, last year, that terror attack, that Islamist terror attack on Bourbon Street, 14 people died. And the city says that it has improved security. The families of victims there, though, say it's still not enough. Now, it's a hot mess there still in New Orleans. Remember that the woman who was the police chief out there? What was her name? I don't have it. I don't have it written down.
In New Orleans?
Yes.
I cannot.
Fitzpatrick, I think, is her last name. She is still the police chief.
Oh, yeah.
New Orleans just reassigned a police officer who was caught on body-worn cameras smoking meth inside his police cruiser.
Goodness.
Yeah, she didn't fire him.
Why is that a
I
problem?
know, right? She didn't fire him. She just reassigned him. So he's rehabable, and he's going to come back. And then there were 4 other officers who were taken off the force recently. One was accused of distributing cocaine while he was on duty. Another one kept filing for pay for shifts that he didn't work. And they didn't really mention what the other 2 were fired for. So things are still a mess in New Orleans. I hope you don't have anybody going there this year.
So you can smoke the meth, you just can't sell the cocaine.
Yeah, it's a little bit different.
It seems a little hypocritical.
Yeah. What are you doing tonight? First of all, are you guys doing anything, Belle?
Yeah, I'm actually going to see a band with a lady I'm seeing.
We're
Brother Bilal,
we're seeing someone. Okay. You don't go to a New Year's Eve event with somebody you just met or you're not really kind of serious with.
Oh, I've known her for a little bit now. We've been out more than once.
Okay. This is just me digging, trying to get information.
I know.
Ken, you know what I'm doing. Ken, what
I
are you
do.
doing tonight?
Going to be sitting at home. Going to be playing games
In
with
his
the
soft
fam.
clothes.
In my soft clothes.
I love that.
And I will probably, I guarantee I'll be asleep by 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
I mean, I will at least be in bed by 10 o'clock.
I like that.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
That has been the case for many years.
You're going to be sucking in the curtains? I know you.
I won't even wake up.
Did you know that I didn't know that it's illegal to sell, use, or shoot off any fireworks in Davidson County if you don't have a permit?
Right.
Unless you're a cop.
Unless you're a cop.
Yeah.
Then cops can do it
Yeah.
without a permit. I see. And you can tell on your neighbors by calling 311 if somebody shoots one off in your neighborhood. They say don't use the 911 number because, that's for real emergencies. Okay. But if you're in like one of the more rural areas of Tennessee, you can. You have to be 16 years old to buy them. But you can fire them off until January 2nd between 9 and 11 p.m., which is really cool. You can start at 9 o'clock in the morning. You can't see them at 9 o'clock in the morning once you fired them, but you certainly can fire them off if you want. Not on public roads, not in state parks or in government property. And cities can make up their own rules. So
unless you're inside a police car, you can set them off inside your police car.
It's probably not a good idea to do that, though. Yeah. So I wanted, we're going to be doing all the Somali stuff. I've got more of it. I've got some of the stuff that you heard Chris doing today, but there's more of it. But it's New Year's Eve, so I thought we'd start off a little soft today. And I, of course, would love to know what other people are doing for New Year's. And if you've, if you can, just shoot us a text, 615-737-9986. That's also the number to call. Are the lines all open, Belle? Yeah, okay. Just nobody's calling. That's terrific. Okay. So I do want to know what everybody's doing today, tonight. Some changes that are coming up in the new year. If you're on Social Security, a 2.8% increase in your Social Security benefits. That's the cost of living adjustment. Medicare B premiums are going to rise by 10%. What? That's insane. And apparently the Navy is about to change its physical readiness program. I love this. Now the Navy members have to be given a fitness test twice a year starting in January. It was back in 2021 that the Biden administration changed that standard. That was always the standard. Biden changed it in 2021. So the assessments consist of a body composition assessment and then a test of push-ups, planks, and a 1.5 mile run. How much of that could you do, Belle? Could you do the whole push-ups? Oh, he's on the phone. Push-ups. Ken.
Yes.
Push-ups.
I can do 20 push-ups.
Can you really?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
I can
impressed.
do more. I can do more, but, I start to struggle after 20.
You could get hurt if you start to struggle and you're doing push-ups.
I get hurt reaching for coffee cups.
Right. Also, have you tested yourself on planks lately? Yeah.
I have tried that before. I'm not very good at it.
Okay. You can do and a 1.5 mile run. So sailors can get 3 failures in the course of 4 years, and it means you're not a sailor anymore. I think that's pretty stringent. Pregnant women get a 1-year reprieve. Then you're back on it after 1 year, which is, I think, also pretty stringent. And apparently we're seeing a lot less people drinking these days. So bourbon is not really a thing anymore. Whiskey, not really a thing anymore. And part of it, yes, is because of President Trump's tariffs. Got it. Canada has revolted. They're just not doing, they're not buying American whiskeys and bourbons anymore. But apparently it's leading to some bourbon and rye whiskeys not even being on the market starting next year. Now, one of them is, of course, we talked about this earlier this week, was Jim Beam saying that it's not going to be producing at one of its distilleries in Kentucky for about a year. And that's a historic facility. It's been around for like 200 years. And another
that's
one.
like the Jack Daniels distillery in Lynchburg shutting down or something.
Right. You wouldn't have that.
No.
I did that tour not that long ago. Such a cool tour. Do you know how he died?
I don't remember, but
Jack
I'm
Daniels?
sure I've heard it before.
He came into the office early one day, and they had a big safe, and he couldn't get the safe open. He didn't remember, the combination, whatever, and he got really mad, and he kicked the safe. When he kicked the safe, it broke his toe, and he got gangrene and died from the gangrene.
Wow.
I thought you were
Is
going
that
to say
amazing?
the safe fell on him.
No, like, wow. And he was a little guy, like not much taller than me. I stood next to his statue that's out there, and he's really not that much taller than me.
He was a little fella.
He was a little fella. Little fellas are okay, aren't they?
They sure are.
You betcha
Just
they
ask
are.
my mom.
So there's another distillery that's closing down. Well, they're not going to close down. It's an American spirits maker called A.M. Scott in Ohio. They just filed for bankruptcy today, and they said what they'll do is continue operating. They're going to restructure. Doesn't look good for them, though. They produce gin, vodka, bourbons, rye whiskeys, things like that. So apparently,
well, I don't want to hear anybody blaming me because I do my part on
You
a
do your
regular
part?
basis.
Thank you. Thanks for doing your part.
I support the bourbon industry all by myself.
Yeah.
You better.
So what else do we have here? We've got the fraud, and I've got a lot of it for you. First of all, we'll do more of this as we go on this morning. This afternoon. Hey, it's an afternoon, and I'm here at the radio station. That's so weird. The Quality Learning Center, or the Quality Learning Center. Did you see Nick? What's his name? Oh my gosh,
Flynn?
No, Nick, the kid that's doing all the.
Oh, the videos?
Yes, Nick Shirley.
Yeah.
Did you see Nick Shirley and that guy Dave out there? They were out there yesterday, and they actually have the Quality Learning Center sweatshirts now. I think if they merch them, if they sold them, they could make $1 billion, those two. They could become very wealthy just on the Quality Learning Center sweatshirts. But I noticed yesterday, and I noticed this tweet early on before people got outrageously mad. But Politico reporter Josh Gerstein, who's their lead law reporter, tweeting out, at some point, the amateur effort to knock on doors of home daycares intersects with robust stand your ground laws. Are you kidding me? The community notes, really shredded them. Stand your ground laws remove the duty to retreat from a threat when a person is in a place that they have a legal right to be. And if you're outside of a public daycare center, I think you've got a legal right to be there knocking on the door and asking if your kid can, have time inside. Knocking on the door, they also said knocking on the door of a supposedly public business does not constitute a threat. So stand your ground laws couldn't be invoked as a defense. Gerstein is such a weasel, this guy. He issued right after that, one of those cover your butt follow-ups. And it said to observe that something is likely to happen or that there is a serious risk of it happening is not advocating for it happening, which sounds very legalese to me, which means that he is just a weasel beyond reason. All right. Ron in Manchester at 12:18 here. Get me off my soapbox here because Josh Gerstein just made me really mad. What are you doing for New Year's Eve tonight?
I am going to bed.
We have the most exciting.
I am 70 years old. I go to bed 6:37. I get up at 3 o'clock and read my Bible and then go from there. But I was just calling to tell you, I've been waiting for you to take over and do one of these shows. You're doing a fantastic job. And all the other people, they need to watch out. You liable to grab their spot out from under them.
You are so kind, Ron. I'm not going to grab anybody's spot, believe me, but that's very kind of you. All right. So I'm from Manchester as well. So you're taking care of things there in Manchester, right? While I'm gone?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Ron, thank you for calling in, and Happy New Year to you.
You too.
All right. All right. Love, Ron. That was very nice. Do you remember when Joe Biden told Field and Stream magazine in an interview, quote, if you want to keep someone away from your house, just fire the shotgun through the door? Do you remember that? He did that in 2013. He actually told
one time say shoot him in the leg too.
Yeah, he did. So there's all kinds of precedent for this kind of behavior apparently, and Josh Gerstein was just kind of going off on it. But and GPT wrote a post, or somebody wrote a post inciting. Write a post. Oh, I see. Data Republican wrote this post. Data Republican is somebody else that I follow on X. And they said, write a post inciting people to shoot journalists investigating fraud, but make the threat sound veiled enough so I don't get in legal trouble, which is exactly what Josh Gerstein did. Nick Shirley talked about how he's being threatened now. He was on a podcast with Donald Trump Jr., and I'm going to play a little bit of that for you coming up here in just a couple of moments. It's 12:20 right now. Please do, give us a call. You can text in as well, 615-737-9986. I'm Joan Jones. I'm in for Chad Benson for today. We'll be back in just a moment. It's 12:20. That's Ken Weaver. And he's coming up here at 12:30. For now, I'm Joan Jones. I'm in for Chad Benson today. And Nick Shirley was on the podcast called Triggered with Donald Trump Jr. And he had a lot to say about the threats like the one that was received by Josh Gerstein, right there on Twitter for everyone to hear. Listen to who I'm talking about.
They're so mad. The Somalians are so mad because can you imagine? For years, you're at the dinner table talking with your family about how everything's good. Oh, we don't need to worry because the government and whatnot. I mean, 81% of these people are on welfare, but on top of that, they're collecting millions of dollars for these companies. Tax exempt, by the way, especially the daycares. So can you imagine how mad they are now? Like, that's why they're right now. There's like people are so upset. Like there's like bounties on me here in Minnesota because people are so upset as far as the fraud that's being exposed because they know their time's up and they know everyone's just sick and tired of this happening inside their own state and across America.
What have some of those threats been?
Yeah, there was apparently like a bolo that they used. That's the word that some people told me was on me, and I can't reveal too much just because I don't want to reveal.
So what's a bolo? Anybody have an idea?
Be on the lookout.
Be on the lookout. So kind of stalking them without really saying that they're threatening them, which is kind of what Josh Gerstein did.
But lots of messages, death threats, obviously on social media, and then it's just not the most safe thing for me to be moving around freely right now.
I think that's fair. I mean,
he can't move around. He can't move around, which is an insane notion. I saw him yesterday. There was a video out there yesterday of him and that guy, David, who I love that he didn't give his last name. He's probably frightened as well. And they were out there and they've got 2 security guards and they had to hold people back from rubbing, like pushing them and shoving them. These people are insane. Lindsay, hello. Happy New Year's to you, Lindsay.
Happy New Year's.
And what do you got for us? What are you doing tonight?
Well, I hear that there's a big fireworks thing going on in Nashville at the river.
So would this be the same thing as going down to Bicentennial Park? Like, would you see it from the same place?
I've been told people go up into the top of parking garages to look at it.
Wow. Oh, yeah. That sounds...
I haven't been yet.
Yeah. So you're going to do that tonight?
Or midnight, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Well, that sounds like fun. Lindsay, have a great time tonight.
You too.
All right. And thanks for calling in. And Happy New Year's to you, Lindsay. I love hearing from you every day. She is one of those people that makes sure she texts with us and talks to us every day. And it's just the nicest thing in the world. What are you doing tonight? So 615-737-9986. We'll do the same thing for people calling today as we did the other day on Christmas Eve day. If you call in, you go right to the top. I'll shut up for a couple of minutes and hear what you're doing. Like Erica in Franklin. How you doing today, Erica? Happy New Year to you. What are you doing tonight?
I'm just staying in with the family, making some soup and ringing the new year.
That's cool. Is soup a thing, a tradition?
Yeah, it is. It's fun. It's easy and it's yummy.
Yes, agree. What did you call in for?
I just wanted to say we used to live in South Nashville, up off Nolensville Road, and we saw, it never made sense. Our kids went to public school there. We had like 40 different nationalities, a huge Somalian, population. We would have kids show up on the first day of school on a bus. Nobody knew who they were, how to get involved, how to get in touch with parents. And you would drive through these newer neighborhoods, and my husband and I could never make sense of it. Like, how are these people affording these houses? They were nice houses. And they're refugees. You're supposed to come here with nothing on your back.
Right.
They're driving nice cars. They're living in these houses. And it just never made sense. And it was such a burden on that community. And my heart goes out for refugees, absolutely. And there were some that were living in squalor, So it never made sense. It doesn't make sense. It's like the Tower of Babel up in South Nashville.
Yeah.
And people work hard for their money and they get nothing for it. There's trash everywhere. It's just sad.
Did you move out of South Nashville?
We did after COVID, and they shut down the schools for 2 years. We just said we have to get out of that. And we gave back to our community so much up there. We're, part of the PTA, but, we sold everything we had just to get to Franklin, to get to like some normalcy, because nothing up there makes sense. And I feel like Metro exploits people who aren't educated and know, there's better out there. You don't have to settle for this craziness. You don't have to settle for your kids not getting the education that they deserve because they're trying to bring every 40 different countries up to speed and try to communicate with 40 different languages or whatever it was. It was something insane. It was...
Which requires more tax dollars to pay the people to come there and teach the kids from 30 different languages. And I've heard, I've heard arguments against that theory, but it makes sense. You need to hire all the people to get these kids who don't speak English as a first language.
Yeah, it's a mess.
Yeah.
So it's been going on for a long time, and I don't know why we're just now getting to the bottom of this.
Well, I'm glad we are.
Hopefully we see some real change.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll believe it when I see it.
Agreed. All right, Erica, I hope you have a great night tonight, and a Happy New Year to you.
Year.
Yep. And
You too.
I'm sure that in Franklin things are a much nicer path for your kids as well. 12:30 here. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. I have a question for you about all these refugees and the Nashville area. It's coming up right after Ken and the News. 12:37 here at WTN. Joan Jones in for Chad Benson today. You know, he gets the holidays off, and me and Headless Bell and Ken, we all work. You know, we work for a living, so we're here. We're here and we're loving it. Thanks for joining us. 615-737-9986 is the number to call. Josh texted in and said Nolensville Road between downtown and Old Hickory Boulevard is a trash pit, to say the least, and the worst drivers in Middle Tennessee. I think I've met a couple of them, too, as I drive in because I commute from Manchester. Whoa, sometimes. And it leads me to believe to this question, which I had been thinking about for the past couple of days. Now, I'm not as familiar with this area as a lot of people are because, you know, I'm a newer transplant than most of you are. But it leads me to wonder, like, do we have anybody here in Nashville that does that independent journalist reporting? You know, there's some in other cities. Obviously, there's some in Ohio that we've seen the past couple of days, following up on Nick Shirley's incredible reporting. But here in Nashville, I just wonder, like, is there anybody that does this kind of stuff? Because when I'm looking on the regular channels that we all get, the Channel 2s and WSMV4 and Channel 17 and 5, they do the same reporting and from the same point of view as you're getting from the national legacy media. But nobody is out there doing that. Not nobody, but there are very few people that are out there doing that investigative journalism that helps to reveal these kind of things. So do you know anybody that does this kind of journalism? And if you do, I'd like to know about it because I'd like to follow that person. Again, you can call, you can text 615-737-9986. Thanks, Josh, because I know that area of Nashville has been considered kind of rough. Nolensville Road between downtown and Old Hickory Boulevard. It's also the place where I've gone to a couple of like a bakery down there that sometimes you need to like get real Italian stuff like I'm used to getting up in the Northeast. And along Nolensville Road is where sometimes you can find those kind of bakeries that I really appreciate having. I'm not going to get Phil Williams on anything because but thank you very much for texting in because I don't think Phil Williams, I think he follows that narrative that the legacy media is so endeared to right now. Yesterday, one of the cooler stories that happened kind of late in the day was that the HHS, the Health and Human Services Deputy Secretary Jim O'Neill, said that he was going to freeze all child care payments, at least temporarily, to Minnesota.
I'm HHS Deputy Secretary Jim O'Neill. I'm here with Assistant Secretary Alex Adams.
And they're both
Alex
dorky.
Oversees the Administration for Children and Families. Intrepid journalists have made shocking and credible allegations of extensive fraud in Minnesota's child care programs. We believe the state of Minnesota has allowed scammers and fake daycares to siphon millions of taxpayer dollars over the past decade.
My office, ACF, provides Minnesota $185 million in child care funds each year. That money should be helping 19,000 American children, including toddlers and infants.
And he said American children, didn't he? He didn't say children from other countries. He said American children.
Any dollar stolen by fraudsters is stolen from those children. Yesterday, I spoke directly with the director of the Minnesota Child Care Services Office. She could not tell me with confidence whether those allegations of fraud are isolated or whether there's fraud stretching statewide.
Today, we have taken 3 direct actions against the blatant fraud that seems to be rampant in Minnesota. First, I have activated our Defend the Spend system for all ACF child care payments across America.
Oh boy, how about that?
Starting today, we require a justification, receipt, or photo evidence before we make a payment.
So you want evidence that there's kids there, that there's people teaching, that there's actually a business taking place.
Second, I've just signed and sent a demand letter to Governor Walz. I required a full 360 review of these centers. This includes attendance records, licenses, complaints, investigations, and inspections.
So he's asking Governor Walz for proof that there's been inspections. Look, you're not going to get any truthful reports from Walz. That's very, very clear.
And third, we've launched a dedicated fraud reporting hotline and email address at childcare.gov. Whether you're a parent, a provider, a member of the public, we want to hear from you. Let me be crystal clear. ACF expects every state to uphold the highest standards of oversight, monitoring, and accountability for federal dollars.
So there you go. Now you can report the people that you're seeing. You can report those places, those daycare centers that are in your area that look like they're empty and there's never really a car there, especially at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, which is crazy. Hi, David from Smyrna. You are with us here on WTN. How are you doing today, and what are you doing tonight?
Well, I work in the restaurant biz, so I'm going to be working.
You're going to be slinging meals. Gotcha.
You know, hopefully I will be out of there by 9 o'clock, but you never know. But as far as these independent journalists go, like, I get it, and I wish we could see more. I know that her name escapes me now, but she used to work for, I think it was the NBC affiliate in Seattle. And she started doing her own digging when they had the Chaz, Chop, whatever.
Yeah.
That was during the Summer of Love. And she promptly lost her job with that affiliate, but she was part of that roundtable that went to Trump to talk about Antifa.
And so was Nick Shirley. He was part of that as well.
Yep. Nick was part of it as well. There were a couple others. But, what that woman... What she did, and not to get overly cheesy about this,
mm-hmm.
but, there's a line in the Declaration of Independence where we pledge our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. Well, I would dare say that her life is at risk. She certainly gave her fortune up, and she hasn't lost her honor. But that's what it's going to take is, if you want to be an independent journalist and you've got a day job and you start exposing stuff like this,
yeah,
you need to be aware that you could get canned.
You could get canned and worse.
And I was about to say, and the threat on your life could be even worse. So, it definitely takes an intrepid soul to do that kind of God's work. That's for sure.
Yeah. Dude, do you know of anybody in this area, though? I mean, somebody is saying on the super text line that Nick Barris does a good job. And I agree. I read his stuff and I do follow him. He does a good job. So there's a guy at Channel 4. Not Nick. Belle, do you remember the guy at Channel 4?
I do not.
Okay. So there is a guy at Channel 4 that also does some good work.
Jeremy Finley.
Jeremy Finley. There we go. We've talked to him in the past on the morning show with Dan Mandis. And he's terrific, too. He does some terrific work. But, there's just those independent journalists that get out there and they don't have any holds at all. Nobody, from the law department down the hall that's telling them they can't do something. But it's very cool.
Yeah. And the problem with specifically with the Somali community is, you're talking about a country that hasn't had a functioning government for over 30 years.
Yeah.
And these are people who are coming here where in their culture it is perfectly acceptable to do female circumcision on a 14-year-old girl. Like, these are cultural differences that unless you come here like everybody else's ancestors did and want to assimilate and be part of America.
That word,
that
A word. Yes.
Yeah, I know. It's such an evil word these days.
Yes.
But it's true. And, these are cultural norms that are not compatible with Western democracy or culture at all.
Yes, agreed. David, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I hope you have a quick shift tonight, and I hope you make a lot of tips.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Bye. Happy New Year to you. Yeah, he's right. I mean, the assimilation thing is really what it's all about. Dennis Ferrier on Fox 17. I don't think I know who that is. I will take a look and perhaps follow him.
Yeah, he's done some good work.
Okay, that's good. And to answer the question from 6455, I did not say that they were both darkies. I said they were both dorky. The two guys from HHS, if you watch that video, you know exactly what I mean. They look like dorks, but I love them. Bring all of your dorkiness. I am a racist. Bring all your dorkiness and bring whatever it is from the administration, that's lightning bolts. I love it. This is what they say. This is what I voted for. So those two guys did that. They stopped the payments to Minnesota. Now we need them to sort of branch out and find other places. There was another one. There was a woman that, I don't know if you saw this one. There was a woman that went to her son's daycare center. So she wanted to give like a tour of her when she goes into the daycare center, what it's like. So that when, you're watching those videos with Nick Shirley and nobody's even answering the door, or they answer the door and they crack it a little bit and tell you no and go away. That's not the way it is. There's no cars in the parking lot. I mean, it's really insane. So this woman goes to her daycare center and she takes her phone with her and she does sort of a Nick Shirley type of investigation. She walks in the front doors where she gets buzzed in. She takes it from there. Listen to this.
So let me take you guys, for all the people in Minnesota that are not aware. I'm at my son's school right now. Let's walk in. All right, so I'm going to go to this front door right here, right? For all the people that are like, we wouldn't just let randoms in. Well, you can't just let randoms in because it's locked, right?
So she says you can't get right into the front door. They had to beep her in.
So what am I going to do? I'm going to ring this bell right here. They're going to let me in. You see how that works? They see me. Hi, guys. All right, just in case nobody. And also, if I need a brochure for the daycare, nobody handed Nick Shirley a brochure. True. Hey, how are you guys? Hey. Yeah, nobody handed Nick Shirley a brochure. Hello.
Fact check true.
Oh, how are you? Thank you. How was he today? Was good. Okay, good. Good. Oh, I didn't even notice. If I want a business card, I can get a business card too, guys. See how that works? I walk out, the door automatically locks. Also, sorry guys, if I need something, there's something right here that I could get. You feel me? So this is what I'm telling you. Why did none of those daycare owners offer Nick Shirley? Come on, babe. You ready? Why didn't anybody say bye, boys? Offer Nick Shirley a brochure. Say bye to your friends. Bye. It's cold, y'all. His hands are going to be frozen. That's all I'm saying, y'all. Nick Shirley's not crazy. It's simple. They could have handed him a brochure.
They could have handed him a brochure. They could have. Now, also, that was an audio feature. What'd you hear when she was inside that daycare center and even outside? You heard kids. You heard kids talking to each other and laughing. And I mean, there were a bunch of kids. Why? Because it's a legit business. And there's people there that, they take their kids to the daycare center that she just went to pick her son up from. Very, very different experience than Nick Shirley was finding. I don't care what CNN says and how they try to disgrace everything that Nick Shirley is doing, because that's all they're doing. We're not crazy. It's just like when we saw Joe Biden walking into the woods or, tripping over the steps that weren't there.
Falling up the stairs.
Falling up the stairs, yeah. I mean, we were watching things happening in real time, and the media was trying to tell us that we're crazy. It wasn't them. It wasn't him. We're crazy. It's the same concept that they're doing with this Nick Shirley investigation. And it's wonderful to watch the media trip over themselves in order to try to disclaim it. We've got more of it. In fact, there's a woman who was on social media talking about what she's seeing as well. I've got another one of those videos for you. That's coming up here in just a couple of minutes. And you still, please do call, text 615-737-9986. Love to hear from you. Of course, I want to know what you're doing tonight for New Year's because, I'm going to be asleep on the couch by probably around 8:30. Tell me something that you're doing that's outrageous. I would love to hear more of it. It's coming up here right now. It is 12:50. Oh, we do hope it'll get better, for sure. But right now, TDOT has that, they're on our holiday. They don't have any construction zones set up, so things are really good. Driving in here today was a pleasure, actually. It wasn't bad at all. Hey.
If only it could be that way every day.
All the time, I know, right? We'd have to build like highway on top of highway, like stack highways up to make the traffic any better around here. I'm convinced. I have been called many things in my lifetime, but I have never been called a dorkist. But now apparently I am a dorkist because I called those two guys from HHS dorks. And they are, but they're cute dorks.
Well, Brother Bilal, looks like we have our new ism. Remember? Me and Chad were talking. We needed a new ism.
Yeah, Chad said we were going to come up with a new one.
Well, there you go. See, I've left Chad a present. He's got dorkists. There you go. I'm especially, I feel very happy about knowing other dorkists. So there is a woman who also was out and noticed the fraud as well. And she was out on social media as well with hers.
I'm telling you right now, Kamala knew what she was doing when she picked Tim Walz as VP. She knew running for president wasn't about running for president for them. It was about expanding their operation.
Oh, what do you think about that? Expanding their operation. I think
the governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, changed the state flag to ironically resemble the Somali flag. And now people in other blue states are investigating their own child care centers and their own adult care centers and seeing the same pattern. The fraud is going to be so extensive, so widespread, nationwide, they're not going to have the resources to shut it down. They're going to have to call in the military.
She was eating her lunch while she was doing that video. But yeah, I agree. I mean, it's going to end up being so massive. There was somebody on the super text line that said the real question is why is it that the federal government is funding these daycare centers anyway? Why? Why can't daycare centers operate with people paying them, a fee to watch their children and have that be enough? It seems like that's a scam in and of itself. And I kind of agree with that. Do they pay more if you're a Somali-based business? Or, how about if you're an American? How about if you're just, the regular Joe and you have a daycare center? Do you get that same kind of service from the federal government? I don't know. There was more too. Minnesota, and I think I heard Chris doing something on this too, because in Minnesota, now this is about polling, going to a polling place and voting. In Minnesota, a single voter can walk into a polling place and vouch for up to 8 other people who have come to the voting center and they just don't have ID. That's crazy in and of itself. And the voucher, all they have to do is sign an oath that confirms that they know that other person lives in the precinct that they're voting for and is permitted to cast a ballot. They don't need any documentation. They can just vouch for people. So Scott Pressler, and you know who he is, he was out there talking about this, the conservative activist. This is the first activist that I've actually kind of liked. And he's investigating voter fraud in Minnesota, and he spoke to Fox News. Now, I'm going to play some of that audio for you when we come back here. But, there are so many other states that have these crazy laws about voting that make it so easy for people to cheat. And there's so much cheating going on. So we'll play some Scott Pressler for you when we come back. And we'll talk about what other states there are that just make it way too easy to cheat. It's coming up here in the Chad Benson Show. I'm Joan Jones sitting in, and it is 1 o'clock.